All right, everybody, we are back. Another episode of the Sports Clash. It's been a while. We took
Been a
took the
while.
been a while. We took the holidays off. We were thinking of maybe doing an episode, but just too much going on. It is what it is. We kept up with our picks, and they are almost finalized. Not quite, but because I did take Miami +3, which early on not looking ideal. I did maybe potentially do an emotional hedge for myself, but because if Miami covers +3, I finish the season exactly at 500 for my picks, which I really want to do. If they don't cover, that sucks, and I'll be two under 500. But I did take Bills -2.5, so that was my emotional hedge. I had to do it. Just had to. So
Solid.
what can you do?
What
But
can you do?
So my picks were right. Your picks were better again. I mean, you finished. I think so. You were 2-1 again today. So 31-23. Congratulations, sir. It's a
Thank
very
you.
nice season.
Yeah, it was a great season. I did pretty well. I had a lot of fun doing it too. I mean, bet on some teams I didn't expect to bet on ever. Took some spreads. I were a little dangerous, maybe overthought it, underthought it, but ended up with a good result. Ended up about 57.5% for my picks. So Vegas calls a sharp bet of 55%. So Vegas, give me a call, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's a sharp. He's a sharp. Maybe the first time
Yep.
I ever called you sharp.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Like a
Well,
tack.
well, we're gonna take a look back at our NFL preseason predictions.
It's going to be embarrassing.
So that should be fun. I have a really bad one. You have a couple bad ones. We each have one, decent one, so it was good. But
Yep,
I think today we're not going to go too in deep with these games, but we will. Let's take a quick look at our picks. Um,
for sure.
let's start it off because we're back. We got a lot to talk about. Football regular season is almost over, one game left, and the playoffs are right around the corner. So we'll wrap it up here, and then we'll kind of get into a look back at our predictions, and then maybe a little playoff talk. So
Sounds
let,
good.
let's start it off. I took Cleveland +7.5. Um, Bengals 31, Browns 14. Did not work. I may have not realized how much the Browns were kind of tanking in this one. Um, they were like sitting all their big defenders. Obviously, the quarterback situation, Cooper was out. It was just, I may have underestimated a little bit. In
Right.
the end, I mean, it was 31-14. It was kind of more of a blowout than that. But that's really all we got to say about that one, I think. The Browns are in the playoffs, and they will be a force. But with Joe Flacco at the helm, which, I mean,
So
nobody
elite.
nobody had predicted that. Pretty crazy, but good for them. Bengals end a tough season. Um, I had them in the playoffs this year. I think we both did. Um,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure I did too. Yeah.
we both did. So it was not ideal. I mean, once Burrow went down, that was kind of it for them. Yeah, he had the early injury in
Hmm.
preseason, came back, played a little bit, and then was down again, and that was it. And then Chase had a little injury. It wasn't clicking this year. But
Higgins was hurt a few games early too. I
he
mean,
always, yeah,
they
he
got bit
always
by the
is.
injury bug pretty
Yeah,
consistently this year. And the Burrow calf injury made for a slow start. The only guy that was like consistent all year is the guy that dominated today, which was Joe Mixon.
yeah, yeah. Not the best guy in the world, but still a very quality running back.
Heck of a running back.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what his contract situation. He's getting up there, right? I mean, he's
I think
he's
he's like
20.
28.
Yeah, he'll be 28 next year, so it's pretty old for a running back. Who knows? But that's it for that game. Uh, moving on.
Sounds good.
Moving on. I'll keep going with my picks. I'll mention I have Dolphins +3. They're playing right now. We'll see how far along we get, but I will. We will.
You just picked it.
We will have a post wrapping up. You picked it in the end zone.
Yeah. and then ran it out to the
Wow.
3. What a moron.
Why didn't he just stay down in the end zone? Like, I
No
guess it's
idea.
tough. It's easier said than done in the moment. But
Oh yeah, I'd be getting up and running. I'd be so pumped. That my adrenaline would be
yeah,
going. I'd be like, hell
yeah,
yeah, I'm
yeah.
housing this. Let's
Two was
go.
probably like, dude, just you could have just stayed
What are you
down.
doing? Yeah.
But this
Well,
should be a very fun game. It's for the AFC East. Both teams are officially in the playoffs, but to have that division, you're moving up really high in the seed. I think the winner is the 2 seed. Um, I gotta look at this. I
which
sent
ends up being home field advantage for majority of the playoffs too, I believe, right?
yeah. So the winner's the 2 seed, the loser's the 6 seed. So it's pretty big, pretty big. Moving on. Detroit minus 3.5. That was my winner. Um, this was pretty easy. Lions 30, Vikings 20. I mean, the Lions kind of they were pissed off after their last game getting screwed over. They Dan Campbell is always has them ready to go. They're a fun
Man Campbell.
team. Hmm?
Man Campbell.
Man Campbell. Man Campbell. I thought I said Ben Campbell for a second. But he's always got them ready, and it's pretty easy win. I mean, 10 points. Vikings were toast. So
This was actually a blowout, though. Vikings made it a little bit closer
yeah,
at the end in the second half, but good pick. Definitely, I followed you into the fray on this one in a number of parlays on FanDuel. So, thanks, appreciate you.
I should have taken this one straight up, but I
I mean,
parlayed
Justin
everything.
Jefferson had a game too. It's impressive how he did that in such a bad loss. But
I mean, he didn't really
you
skip
do.
a beat, even when Cousins went down. He's just super talented. Vikings will be back. I mean, we'll see what happens with Cousins. Don't know where he's going to end up next year if he's going to come back. If not, Vikings are going to need a quarterback.
Moving on.
That's that. Looking at your picks, let's talk about your loser real quick first.
Oh,
Uh, that was Bears +3, which I was very into and did
yeah.
tail. But Packers 17, Bears 9. The Packers needed to win to make the playoffs, but the Bears were playing spoiler and they've been playing really well. I thought Fields and that offense, which had looked great, was going to outduel Jordan Love and the Packers, but they did not get into the end zone. Just 3 field goals. One was a doink in, which was kind of
Yeah.
poetic for Bears fans, but that's a tough loss for the Bears in the season. You're kind of worrying now about Fields, wondering what the future is there if he's your guy, or they're gonna have 2 top 10 picks and the number 1 overall pick because of the pick that trade, the DJ Moore trade with the Panthers. So, which I mean that was just a great trade for them. The Panthers are a complete disaster, but
Might go down as one of the worst trades for any NFL franchise for the Panthers side. I mean, oof,
I don't.
I can't believe you showed me. I mean, the Commanders locked in the second pick. So whatever the Bears do with the first, I mean, I'm going to be sitting there hoping for Marvin Harrison, or maybe welcoming in Caleb Williams, or I'd be okay with a trade back too. But yeah, I thought the Bears were going to. I mean, they've been streaking. Fields has been looking great. I thought, and Tony Romo said young players on the thing. He said young players don't perform like this in these situations about Jordan Love. That was my mindset, getting right knocking at the door and maybe not getting in this year. And the Bears, of course, big rivalry. Fields went out late with he slid, got hit in the head, and then the independent neurology consultant or whatever stopped the game, pulled him off the field. So we ended up with Nathan Peterman on the last drive, and I was hoping maybe we could cover, get a touchdown. 2-point conversion failed, whatever, just to cover the +3. But without Fields, the Bears were not good. And Nathan Peterman we remember him from the Bills a few years ago with his pick six string when he used to just throw it to the other team for touchdowns. So yeah, not a good finish for this one. But yeah, I totally saw the Bears playing spoiler and a young Packers team kind of getting to where they need to be, but not crossing the hump or getting over the hump. But they did. Kudos to Jordan Love. Kudos to Matt LaFleur. And yeah, Packers could be a pretty good team if they keep rolling like this in the playoffs.
Yeah, if their running backs can get going and are healthy, that's
I
because
think
their
they're better.
offense.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Run
maybe.
Aaron Jones. Come on.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we're in agreement there. Jones is the guy, but yeah. So we'll see how they fare. But they win, went to playoffs. So congrats to them. Houston minus 1.5. That was a Saturday game, and the Texans won 23-19 and are your division winners. I mean, wow, that's none of us had that prediction, but none of
No,
us thought that CJ Stroud would play like this. I mean, I think he's probably shoe in for Rookie of the Year. Puka Nakua is up there as well. I think he broke a rookie record for receptions and receiving yards. So he's up there, but I don't think it's going to beat Stroud. I mean, it's a quarterback who just had an unbelievable season. And Miko Ryan's maybe coach of the year too. Just an incredible job by them in Houston. They finish off the season with a big win. Texans 23, Colts 19. Colts needed that win too, and this was a tight game, a fun game. But came down to the last play. Gardner Minshew just misses the pass. I don't know. It was kind of in his hands. You could argue both ways. The play call was there. They could have had that first down and
it's open.
maybe won that game, but they didn't connect, and that was that. A nice win for you.
Yeah, so I mean, dude, I you got to eat some crow on D'Amico Ryan's. I don't think I gave him enough credit for being as good of a coach as he was and leading this team. And
I don't
I
think anybody
honestly,
has. I don't think anybody
yeah,
has.
I didn't realize how spoiled I was as a Buckeyes fan having Justin Fields and then C.J. Stroud. I C.J. Stroud never beat Michigan, which obviously doesn't, mean that he's going to be one of these legendary Ohio State quarterbacks. And usually they don't do well in the NFL. I mean, they just don't. Like, so it's pretty impressive for me to watch C.J. Stroud as a pro finally open it up. And I think finally now that I guess college kids can get paid now, but now that he's got his contract, he's running, and he ran for a few first downs there. He's playing with heart, and he's like one of those young kids out there just having a blast. His first pass of the game was 75 yards to Nico Collins, who again I got to give
Great
him
season.
props too. Holy crow, he's really freaking good. But yeah, the Texans. I mean, once they set the tone with that first pass, I was locked in. I was pumped, and it kind of was like I'm rooting for them, but they're going to run into the Browns, I think, in the playoffs here in the first round. So we'll see how Stroud does against a pretty elite defense in Cleveland and some actually good D backs because that was the weakness of the Colts. Shane Steichen, incredible coach. Jonathan Taylor, what a beast. Goes out of the game with a heel injury. Colts go down, comes running out of the locker room, pumping himself up on the sideline, puts himself back in the game, and he had an incredible game too. And I hope that he makes a lot of money. Did he get a contract?
Yes, I
He
believe
did,
they.
actually, yeah, and well deserved because he's now playing not like he's playing for money, he's playing like he's wanting to play football. So, yeah, I mean, this was a great game, a great Saturday night game, and I mean, two great young head coaches and two teams that I think arrived at their you know goals a little bit sooner than they thought, and can just build from here. Will Anderson should definitely be Defensive Rookie of the Year. Will Anderson is a
Yeah,
game changer. And Derek Stingley Jr. was a first round pick in their secondary, too. So the Texans have, I mean, both sides of the ball. Just a few more things, you pepper them in, and they could be looking at some deep playoff runs pretty consistently for as long as Stroud's there. So, yeah,
absolutely.
Texans, thank you.
Looking good. Yeah, that defense got out to a slow start this year, but really picked it up second half and looked good. And yeah, for the Colts, they're going to be good for a while. Looks like they have their coach. They did this with Gardner Minshew, but Anthony Richardson will be the guy, and you know he's got to stay healthy. You saw early on the season before he got hurt, he's going to run a lot.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a different offense with Richardson. So it'll be interesting to see. I think they would be smart to keep Minshew. I don't know what his contract status is, but keep him around, have him as a backup, and see where they go from there.
I mean, I would be surprised if he makes his way onto to another team and gets maybe another shot to start somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know Minnesota if Kirk Cousins gone. I have no idea, but
I
he
mean, if
played great and a good season out of him for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if he's a free agent, I'd love to see the Jets bring him in. They need a backup, a true backup to potentially start. Um, because you're going into the year with Rodgers again, and they're not bringing back Zach Lowe. I think they're going to get rid of Zach. So
I mean, if I'm the Jets and we're up 2 touchdowns or 3 scores, 2 touchdowns and field goal, whatever, Rodgers coming off the field. So invest in a backup quarterback, and you can do that and keep him healthy all year,
you have
hopefully.
to. You have to.
Yeah.
They didn't do that this year, and it hurt them. We'll get to the Jets, but moving on. Last pick. Another winner for you. Tampa Bay -4. Nice call here. It was. I mean, the Bucks needed a win, and they got it. It wasn't pretty, but Buccaneers 9, Panthers 0. The Panthers, man. I forget who the receiver was, but he had a touchdown and reaching in, fumbled right before he went in. So that turned the tide of the game. Panthers get shut out, and just like we said, complete disaster of a season for the Panthers. You feel for them, but the Bucks are in the playoffs. Baker Mayfield had one hell of a season. Really, really impressed with him. They're the 4 seed. They won the division. They won the weakest division in football, but they won it with solid defense. Baker had a really nice season. Mike Evans is still one of the best receivers in football. Rashad White, the running back. I mean, what a
We love
unbelievable,
Rashad White over here. We're
crazy.
big fans of Rashad White.
I
But yeah, no, this was I feel like I've been picking on the Panthers for the last couple weeks, and it's because they really had nothing to play for. Fired their head coach. They have an interim head coach. I mean, their owner's throwing drinks on the fans. Like it's just kind of a shit show there. So I was shying away from them in certain situations, but for some reason I don't know, +4 like that or -4 that just seemed really small to me for a team that's 2-5 against a team that's playing for the division. Baker, I mean, Baker's cooking. Baker is cooking, and I'm pumped for him because he was a former first round pick of the Browns, and he's gone through so many head coaches, so many different offensive schemes, and he always seems to compete. He doesn't care. He just goes out, gunslinger. He used to, I feel like, throw the ball a little bit more on a rope, but now he's got some good receivers to go to now. So with Evans being as huge as he is, and Godwin being incredible, and the run game working. They're good, man, and they've got a good defense with Winfield. I believe Vita Vea is still there, and a couple of other guys that can actually stop the run and the pass. So kept them in some games. And Baker loves to, go on a game-winning drive. He didn't have to here, field goal kicking contest, but it is what it is. They clinched the division, and I mean, let's go Baker. Let's go.
Oh, good for him. They are going to play the Eagles at home.
I mean, the Eagles have been flopping now, but I mean, that's not a 5 seed team.
No, it's going to be a tough matchup for them. But the Eagles really have to get their stuff together because that was a collapse to let the Cowboys win that division. Complete collapse.
I mean, they're not the same team without Steichen.
No, no.
Clearly,
But
he's
but it looked that way earlier in the year. I mean, they were fine,
right.
and then all of a
Right.
sudden, I don't know what really the turning point was. What happened? What clicked? There wasn't a major injury. I mean, Hurts kept playing, and they were still fine. It's just and now there's a buzz around Sirianni, and yeah, they're kind of a mess. So that'll be an interesting matchup. I think the Eagles will take it, but um, never know. Never say no to Baker. Never say no.
I'm home with Baker Mayfield.
Right. So those are our picks again. Congrats. You won the head-to-head matchup between you and I on the picks. You won the people some money, so that's very nice. And I like your thumbs cup there. Very nice.
Thanks, man. I bought myself a trophy.
Congrats. I'm proud of you. Those are the best trophies, the ones you buy yourself.
I don't know where this came from, but hey, it's a gold thumbs up. So
I love it.
woo, it was a good season, and I mean, honestly, finishing around 500 too. There's not too many people that do that. But people say that you start to make money on the book if you win about 52% of the time because the spreads are meant to lean it in the book's favor. That's why it's there. I mean, you're right there. Some good picks, maybe changed from loving on my Commanders early in the season, and yeah, you're right there with me. But I learned everything I know about fantasy sports and betting from you, so appreciate it.
Thanks. I appreciate that. But well, that's that for the season. I think we're gonna do a little playoff preview, but before that, I wanted to have some fun and take a little look back at our predictions. We did our NFL season preview episode a long time ago. I mean, 19 weeks ago. So
Jeez.
we made some good calls. We made some bad ones. I'm going to go through the AFC and say what I think was our best and worst call each. And I'll go through the divisions and who we had. AFC East, obviously, we both went Jets. Did not work out. I think we know why.
They do this.
You, I had totally forgot this, but you actually said you predicted a Theismann injury for Aaron Rodgers, and that happened. So you're an asshole. I saw that. I was fuming. I forgot that you did that,
Oh
and
man, I'm sorry.
yeah, what a dick. So I blame you for all my pain and suffering over the last 18 weeks. Real big dick there.
Oh, I love you,
You were
buddy.
technically predicting that his career ends with a Theismann injury over the next 3 years, but he'll be back. He's coming back next year, so we'll
And
see.
he's
But
committed, I think, to a third year now too. So I mean,
uh,
I think that's awesome for you guys that
yeah,
you
that's
kind of got
awesome.
that assurance that he'll be around for at least 2 years. You thought maybe it was all in next year, and it totally is all in next year. But
Has to be.
you're going to have him again as long as you can keep him upright.
That's the problem. And the Jets decided to end their 15-game losing streak against the Pats with a win today,
Yep.
which bumped them down in the draft. And they still have a top 10 pick, but it's literally number 10. So kind of sucks.
Take the top rated lineman.
There's three big time offensive linemen in this draft, and they're probably going to miss out on them unless they could pull off a trade, which I hope
Commanders.
they can. Yeah, yeah, I would be down for that. I think they really need to get it. I mean, I think the other prediction for them, and I won't do a draft deep dive here, but the that tight end Brock, what's his name?
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers
Yeah.
could be a target, and I mean the Jets need receivers along with offensive line. Alan Lazard was a complete bust. Um,
I mean, he was just, I mean, it's like he runs out there with just balled fists trying to catch the ball. It's like, it's just, I don't, your job is to catch the ball. And everybody, the average fan sees that you're not good at it. I don't know. I mean, he was only there really to bring in Rodgers, to be honest. We all know that. He was dropping balls at the end of last
I don't
season.
know why Rodgers wanted
I
him.
think he's done as a top three starting receiver on any depth chart. He's just going to be depth wherever he goes now. Jets need to grab somebody, and it looks like maybe Devontae. They'll talk to another one of Rodgers' friends. We'll see if that happens too.
Yeah, but I mean, they have to draft it with this pick. They have to get a playmaker or a big star, shore up the offensive line.
It's got
But
to be the line.
yeah. Well, we could always go into the Jets later on, but a later episode. But I'm done with them for now. We predicted them to win the AFC East. They did not. We both had the Bills and Dolphins in the playoffs, but as wild cards. They will both be in the playoffs, but one of them will be a division winner, and we'll find that out soon enough. AFC North, we both properly predicted that the Ravens would win. Good for us.
So,
AFC South, we both incorrectly had the Jaguars winning. That did not
oh
happen
yeah, I remember that. Just
whatsoever.
for everybody listening, I don't have these in front of me, so
I'm going. I got you. Don't
I'm
worry.
reacting real
Yeah.
time here.
That was rough. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say it was your worst call because your worst call is coming up, but you had Doug Peterson as coach of the year. Not quite.
What?
Not quite. It
Oh
looked good for a
no.
while. I mean, the Jaguars looked like they were rolling in that division. They really did.
I will
And
say when it
Peterson looked
comes to
great.
talking about coaches this year, I was wrong most of the time.
Mhm.
I was wrong most of the time. I don't know why. Maybe I think I can coach some of these teams better. I don't know, whatever it is, money more armchair quarterback. But yeah, most of the time I was talking about coaches this year, I was incorrect,
Yes, yes, you were.
which
And
probably
here was
leads to the
another one.
next one. Yeah,
AFC West.
waiting for this
I
one.
I had the Chiefs. You had the Chargers, and you had Justin Herbert as your MVP. You were all in on the Chargers. You didn't go all in on Brandon Staley, so fair enough. I did say I think he's a terrible coach, and he was fired midseason, so I think that worked out nicely for me. But this was I would say this was your worst pick in the AFC.
I mean, that's horrendous. That was really bad. And I put Herbert as the MVP too.
Yes,
Defensive minded, terrible head coach. You pair him with a young guy who needs a little bit of guidance, has all the talent in the world. It's just not smart. So yeah, this was dumb. I thought also, what's his face? Quentin Johnston was going to be a playmaker right away. He ended up on all my fantasy teams, and he ended up dropped on all my fantasy teams. But yeah, and
he looked
Eckler. I
terrible.
mean, Eckler's Eckler, but you're not going to win with that. Bosa gets hurt every year. Bosa got hurt a couple
Eckler
games
looked
this
bad
year.
this year too. I think Eckler might be done
Yeah,
though.
I think
He
so
looked
too.
a
I think
step slow.
he hit the peak. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
So
a bad pick.
that was bad. I
Wow.
stuck with my guns with the Chiefs,
Yeah.
and they won it. It wasn't the best year for them, and a lot of the problems that people were predicting early in the year did show, but they still
Hmm.
easily cruised in the division. Wild cards. Again, you had the Bengals. Uh, didn't happen, and the Bills,
Injuries.
and you had the Chiefs. So Bills could be a wild card team. Chiefs are in the playoffs, but won the division. You took the Browns out last minute. You almost had them wild card, and you waffled and had to
I
stick
did.
with Bengals, Bills, Chiefs.
I know.
So it's all
What
right.
a
It is
dummy.
tough. I mean, we were both right on the division winner with the Ravens. So it was tough. I also my wild card was Bengals, Bills, Dolphins. Bengals obviously did not work out. Bills, Dolphins again. One of
They'll
them is
both
a
be in the
division winner,
playoffs,
but they're
so
both in the playoffs.
you can call that a
Overall,
dub.
overall not terrible. My MVP pick was Lamar, and it's either probably going to be him or Dak. Um,
Solid, man. You should have put a futures bet on that one for sure. I mean, probably would have been the
yeah,
best
I should.
best odds, but it definitely ended up being. I think 2 weeks ago it was like minus 10,000. It was just like he locked it up way early, and he deserves it. And I love it because nobody thought they should pay him that much. He represented himself. Teams were not like people didn't love that and the way he went about things, but I mean, dude's a baller, and the way that he runs and the way that he ran this year, he's just playing a different game than everybody else out there, and it's just smooth and it's fun. It's fun, and he got some targets in there too, and his arm looked pretty good this year. I mean,
It looked
well
great.
deserved MVP and a great call, man.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, he may not win it. I think Dak's going to get some votes. So they only do
Yeah, he
one
probably
MVP, right? They don't do AFC. They do AFC Offensive Player of the Year, and
right.
but one MVP. So we'll see. But decent pick. I think
Maybe
he's
McCaffrey.
got a shot. He's got a shot.
That's a
Yeah,
quarterback. It's got to
McCaffrey.
be a
Yeah,
quarterback.
it's gonna be. I mean, we thought Tyreek Hill, and he had the injury. He still has a
Everything's
shot at
fine.
2,000 yards, but he needs like 260 tonight, and it doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
Don't
So
play with lighters, kids.
yeah, no, yeah, Tyreek. All right. Well, that was the AFC.
All
So
right.
NFC, starting the East, we both had the Eagles winning and the Cowboys as wild card. That looked great. That looked great for a long time, and then Eagles collapsed. Eagles are still in the playoffs, and we both had Cowboys wild card, but they're winning the division, so we both muffed that one up. It's all right. I'm
Yeah, they're
okay with
both in the playoffs again. Like, it is what it is. Some things happen. For the first time ever, what is it? The AFC North has teams above, with winning records,
it.
and the AFC South is like everybody sucks. So
Mhm.
it's tough to predict sometimes, and there's a lot of parity in the NFL. But we got
Yes.
most of these playoff teams in, except for the freaking Chargers. It was dumb.
Yeah.
Can't get over that.
Yeah. Well, another team we both liked was the Vikings. You had NFC North Vikings winning that division again. Did not happen. I had the Lions winning it, and
Solid.
tis what happened. So I'll take my dub
Damn.
there.
All right, I'll send everybody for futures to you.
I mean, I'll get to the one future that I actually placed in a minute. NFC South, we both had the
Curious.
Saints. We both had the Saints winning the division. Looking back, I mean, we knew that was a weak division. I don't think any of us were high on the Bucks. We thought Baker would be okay, but that was kind of a surprise there. But Derek Carr really showed his true colors. I mean, I think they got a problem there. Like he's getting way more money than he deserves. He looks
Yeah,
bad.
bad investment. Bad investment. Good for him. Good for his agent. Good for, he's in a great situation with a lot of good people around him. But man, is he probably not the answer.
And to complete the 0 for 4 on NFC division winner predictions, you had the Seahawks winning the NFC West. Big Pete
I love my
Carroll guy.
Seabirds. Let's go Goals.
I had the Niners. That's a check. So
Damn,
I
you
in the
crushed it.
NFC, I had the Lions and Niners correct, and Eagles and Saints incorrect. You had Eagles, Vikings, Saints, Seahawks. None of them division winners. Wild card, I had the Vikings in, and then I had the Cowboys. And then this was my worst pick, my worst prediction. I
What is
was
this?
really hyped up by your Commanders, and this was the future that I took.
Got to.
I
Yeah.
had the Commanders as the third wild card. I had them. I took their over 6.5 win total for the season. I was high on Sam Howell. I was boasting about their defensive line. We all know
Just
what
no
happened
more.
there. We all know what happened. Howell had an okay season, especially early on, but once they traded those ends, and that was what the trade deadline kind of put an end to the season and those futures. I had them in the playoffs too. Not even close.
Wow.
They will be your number 2 pick in the NFL draft. So
Let's go. Come
congrats
on.
on
Come
that.
on, Marvin. I
But
want Marvin.
man, and that was of all these predictions I got right. The one that I was so confident and put my money in, and I was so pumped to take. I was like, Commanders easy 7 wins at the very least.
I
Easy.
remember that conversation. This seems kind of low. I'm definitely taking that. Yeah, yeah. Something along those lines.
Yeah, that was
Can't
about
quote you
it.
for sure, but
That was about it. It seemed low to me, and it was looking good early on, very early on. But
this is funny to look back at. This is really funny.
yeah, it was rough. But that was definitely my worst prediction. Your wild card teams, you did have all 3 of these in the playoffs, but they were all division winners: Lions, Niners, Cowboys.
All
Not too
right, I wasn't
bad.
completely. I wasn't like completely drunk or
No,
something. Yeah.
no, you were fine. You just didn't. You were sticking with your guns with the Seahawks and Pete Carroll, and the Chargers one was it was rough looking back.
It was a team that was supposed to take the next step.
Yeah,
Man, they fell on the stairs and fell all the way back down.
yeah.
Whew.
Rough, but that was
All right.
fun. It was fun to look back. I took some time, watched that episode, wrote down all the predictions.
Oh,
It was
that's
a good
awesome.
time. Good time.
Hell yeah.
We
Hell
did
yeah.
it. We did all right overall. And you beat me in the picks, so you got that on me.
There we
Can't
go.
say
We're
nothing
even.
about that.
We're even. We'll do a tiebreaker in the playoffs somehow.
All right, moving on. Let's take a look at the playoffs real quick. Playoff picture is about set. It's still pending this AFC East division winner matchup, but let's start. Take a look at the NFC real quick. We won't do deep dives here, but we'll take a look. We have these are the super wild card matchups. Remember, it's super wild card weekend. We can't forget that. But
Yep.
it's going to be interesting. It is number 7 Packers at number 2 Cowboys. The coach situation there is definitely interesting. Mike McCarthy
Yeah, that's
facing his
kind of
old
cool.
team. That should be fun. Number 6 Rams at number 3 Lions.
Another one.
Stafford and Goff. I mean, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
then number 5 Eagles at the number 4 Buccaneers. Pretty cool. I don't know. We won't do predictions on the games, but based off of the NFC, and obviously you have the Niners as the number 1 seed. Um, who do you think are the last 2 standing at the end in the
Yeah,
NFC?
I'm gonna be lame, and it's gonna be the 49ers and the Cowboys. They just have the easiest road to get there. I mean, I think the Eagles could surprise from the 5 seed, but who knows? They were getting burned deep in the past games, so they might not be too good against the Bucks. But the Bucks, they're the Bucks. It is what it is. I think it's gonna be 49ers Cowboys. What about you?
I love the Niners. I really wanted to go with the Lions here, but the Sam Laporta injury is rough,
Yeah.
and I don't think he's coming back. I mean, he had an unbelievable rookie year. Caught a touchdown today, and then got hurt, and looks like
Hyperextended his
he's out.
knee.
Yeah, and looks like he's out. He's not going to play next week, and who knows? Probably not going to come back this year. So that's pretty tough. I think they beat the Rams, but that should be a fun matchup.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna say it's Niners Eagles. I think the Eagles figure it out. I think the Cowboys have a collapse at some point, and we got Niners Eagles. I'm not going to predict that one quite yet. I would like the nine. I would like to see. I like the Niners. I like McCaffrey. I love Shanahan. I would like to see them in the Super Bowl again. So
yeah,
that
I
would
would
be my
too.
pick.
Yeah,
Anything else on the NFC?
nah. I mean, the Eagles are going to be a dark horse. It's a good call. It's a good risk. Lions a little bit weaker. Stafford's playing great as the Rams. That could be a track meet. Could not beat. Who knows? But yeah, I think we kind of went with the obvious choices that are there.
Yeah. So AFC still not set, but here's what it boils down to: number 5 Browns at number 4 Texans. That's locked in, no matter who wins tonight.
That's going to be
Uh,
my favorite game of this
and
entire playoffs.
that's fun as hell. I mean, two teams that not everybody had nobody had the Texans in the playoffs this year. People had the Browns. You almost did, but then you waffled and changed your pick at the last
Well,
minute.
you know what? They're a
Uh,
different team. They had a different running back. They had Deshaun Watson, who hadn't played too good. Yeah, whatever.
Joe
Amari Cooper all of a
Flacco,
sudden wins me a fantasy league. So
yeah,
I'm all
crazy.
in on the Browns now.
That's a fun one. Joe Flacco, the old man against C.J. Stroud, the rookie. A lot of fun there. So
You young whippersnapper.
yeah, so that one's set no matter what. But if the Bills win, then you don't get a rematch. You get the number 6 Dolphins at the number 3 Chiefs. That could be a fun
Damn.
one.
Yeah.
And I think the Chiefs are probably rooting for the Dolphins tonight because if the Dolphins win, they play the Steelers at home. If the Dolphins lose, they are playing the Dolphins. So yeah, I think they're rooting for the Dolphins tonight.
I'd love to see Dolphins Chiefs. I'd love to see Bills Dolphins again. This is a great game right now.
Yeah,
I
matchups will be
Steelers.
fun either way. And if the Bills win, they're at home as the number 2 seed, and they host the Steelers. So that's a huge
With
swing for the
Mason
Bills.
Rudolph, right? Probably.
I guess I don't know what their situation is. I mean, Rudolph's look good. I think they're rolling with him.
Yeah, we'll see.
What do you think?
Um,
Who do you think? I know it might be pending what happens tonight in the matchups, but
right.
who do you think the last two standing in the AFC?
Well, if the Dolphins had any linebackers healthy, I would probably say they might pull an upset against one of those two teams. But if not, I think the most likely scenario is going to be the Ravens and the Chefs, Chiefs, because I do think that the Chiefs get it together. I mean, Andy Reid, while he went to a bunch of NFC championship games with McNabb, and it was a knock on him for never getting through the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl. He got to a couple Super Bowls as well. I think that Mahomes is just built different, and him and Kelsey just have that chemistry for when plays break down and chaos happens in the playoffs. So they're built for chaos. Pacheco is a great running back. I don't know that the Dolphins kind of style. I think it could win them a few games, but I don't think it gets them as far as they want to get. And they need a couple of other pieces on defense. Xavier Howard's hurt today as well. Bills on a great run, but man, you got to lose at some point, right? If they win this one, they'd be 5 straight wins, and it's pretty much Josh Allen just get on my back and let's go. But I don't really, as much as I like the Bills and I'm a fan of their defense, I'm a fan of Josh Allen. I think it's got to be Ravens Chiefs is the most logical pick, but I'm pulling for the Browns. Browns, let's go to the Super Bowl,
I
baby.
I'm with you on everything. I mean, I think it's Ravens Chiefs. Although if the Dolphins lose and they play the Chiefs, I think they could beat them. That would be. I think they're kind of built to handle them. Could be tough. But I think if the Chiefs get the Steelers and they move on, I think they
Right.
roll. I mean, they might have to face the Dolphins again. I don't know what the seeding will be after. I think the Ravens are just too good. I know it. I get it. It's chalk. It's boring, but I see them in the Super Bowl. My dark horse is the Browns. I think. I
Yeah.
really think it's. I think the winner of Browns Texans could really make some noise. Um,
I think both of those teams could play a good game against Lamar. I think both of those teams with the way Flacco's slinging it, they can score with the Ravens if you can stop them on a few drives and get a few more opportunities, maybe one or two turnovers. Maybe Lamar fumble with the way he carries the ball. Who knows? But yeah, I really, really think that the Browns. Then again, they're a different team than what I predicted in the beginning of the season. But they've got it together. They're clicking. Stefanski's doing great, and their defense is so good on every level, like from the defensive line with Myles Garrett all the way down to the secondary with Denzel Ward, I guess, is one of the great corners, and he can really lock down those some of those receivers. The Ravens, it's amazing how many of their receivers were former first round picks, like five of them. So they have talent in the receiver room, but Lamar's game. And this is the knock that's always on Lamar, and I can't believe I'm bringing it up now. It's he can give you some heart attacks, right? You never know. He could get hurt. He could try to play hero ball. He doesn't have Andrews, I don't think, but likely has been good. So yeah, I mean,
Yes.
maybe Dalvin Cook can get some carries in the playoffs finally. Former Jet great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the
Great.
Browns sneaky. If they can get past the Texans, I think the Browns could be
Yeah.
sneaky. If the Texans win, I mean, they've got all the weapons to spread it out and play high flying football, and they've got a good defense. But I think youth would be against them in that situation. So pulling for the Browns, and then we would see what Browns Ravens in the
I
second
mean, I
round.
think there's a chance you could see if the higher seeds win in the other games and the Browns beat the Texans, they would be the lowest seed. They would go to Baltimore.
All right,
So you would see Joe Flacco in Baltimore against the Ravens in playoff game. I
it's
mean,
incredible.
it's almost
The
like the
NFL's got to
script
love
was
these
written.
storylines.
Yeah, yeah. They got a lot of storylines. They know what they're doing. They wrote a nice script this year. Well done.
I
Good
will say
direction.
credit to them and whoever makes the schedule in this week because there wasn't a lot of people that did get the
Mm,
opportunity to rest their starters. A lot of the games that mattered were at the same time, and there could have been some scoreboard watching. Dallas could have taken their guys off the field. I know there was a certain situation where that might have been smart, but I mean, kudos to the NFL for this week and combating what could have been a real lame duck week. It actually was a great week of football.
it was.
Yeah,
It was fun.
and this is going
And
to be a great playoff.
Dolphins just scored to take a 14-7 lead with a minute 43 left in the second. So this game's looking fun. That Bills touchdown, did you see that deflection? The ball just like rolled up and then he just toe tapped the back of the end zone.
Well, it was
It was,
incredible. Who was that? Do you know?
somebody that I don't really
Because it
know.
wasn't Shakir, it wasn't.
Trent Sherfield toe drag
But that
touchdown.
was a great. I mean, talk about a catch, man.
I mean, but what are the odds? That ball was deflected. I mean, what are the odds that it just goes right to where he was? That was wild play. But it's been a fun one here. We'll
Yeah.
by the time this is out, everybody's going to know what happened. So we'll have the C's mess up. But uh, Chris, I think we're going to play a little game with predictions for the playoffs. You want to tell people what we're going to do?
Yeah, so I mean, this is even better now because you crushed it in the futures, I crushed it in the weekly bets. This is going to be maybe a tie break here to settle between friends and enemies and frenemies or whatever. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and pick three teams, and once the playoff picture is set, we'll put it out on TikTok or wherever you guys can find us here.
Everywhere.
We'll pick three teams, and we'll go by the seed. Each round that they win, you would get points. So. And in the second round, you would get the seed times two. In the third round, the seed times three. Right. So the deeper the playoff run for a higher seed, the more points you can get. If you cop out, take the Ravens and the 49ers, max you're going to get is like 3-4 points. But yeah, so basically, say you take the Ravens, first round, they win. Well, I guess they're not even in the first round. You only get 1 point. So second round, I guess for them would be 2 points. Third round, 3 points. Say you take the Browns first round to win, like probably will end up dumb wearing this freaking hat. You get 5 points for first round win. They go in. Joe Flacco beats his former team. You get 10 points for that one. All right. So basically, we'll get an aggregate score leading into the Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
it's up to you to either pick the favorites and try to last, or go ahead and pick some underdogs and maybe try to compile some points with a few round wins.
I like it. I was going to propose one thing,
Okay.
maybe a little bonus. Like what is the Super Bowl going to be worth? Like when we pick our Super Bowl winner because right now it's tough to pick the one seed. But if
Right.
say I think the Ravens are really going to win the Super Bowl, we have a nice. Is it going to be times?
I think it's got to be like basically a flat number. So maybe just 10 points if you pick the Super Bowl winner. So then you would get, the 3 points for the 3 round wins for the 49ers or the Ravens, but then you would get 10 points if they ultimately end up being the Super Bowl winner.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. So
All right,
so
sweet.
first
And
round. Yeah. So we're picking three in each division, each conference, and
mhm.
then it's multiplied by seed. Each round, first round times one, second round times two, third round times three, and then Super Bowl winner is a plus 10.
Do
Love it.
it.
Love it. So we'll have that
Sweet.
out before the games this weekend. Sometime midweek. We'll be all over socials: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, Facebook, all
Follow us,
that good
like, and
stuff.
subscribe.
Yeah. Put it out on the Tube Shorts. It'll be everywhere. So yeah, like, subscribe.
You're going
Appreciate it.
down, man.
Everybody's support.
Sorry.
No,
You're
I'm
going to lose.
definitely winning this. We'll talk during the week. We'll make our picks once seeds are set, and we got
I'm
some.
going to pick the Chargers.
Yeah, they'll do good. I predict 0 points for the Chargers. All right, man. Well, hey, man,
Perfect.
it was a blast covering the NFL regular season this year. A lot of fun. I mean, the picks each week was great. Just our banter, being able to watch football all day, and then Sunday night talk with you about it has been real fun. So glad we
Yeah,
did this. I hope
me
everybody
too, man.
enjoyed as well. All right, let's move on. Guy or dude?
Just a regular, everyday, normal guy. Nothing special about me, man.
How do you do, dude?
He's a dude.
To move like that.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
It's back. We're back. Chris, let's do two candidates this week. Give me your first one. Who you got?
All right, perfect. So from my playoff predictions of the Jaguars, the quarterback QB1 for the Jags under apparently Coach of the Year Doug Peterson, in my opinion. Let's go with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has been in the league a few years now, and Trevor Lawrence has gotten close, and they've done a little bit better, but who knows? Some things keep happening that keep him from making the playoffs or making a playoff run, and want to hear what you have to say. Guy or dude for Trevor Law?
Every part of me wants to call Trevor Lawrence a guy right now and make me feel like the Jets were justified in winning those late games that year, losing out on the first pick, and having to take Zach Wilson number two right behind Trevor Lawrence. Every bit of me, but I think this end kind of came down to the injuries mounting for Trevor Lawrence, and the guy's a horse, and he just keeps playing. He won't sit. I mean, he had 4,000 yards this year. They had the division basically locked up, and it fell apart. But everything in me still says this guy's a dude, a legit dude, and I want to call him a guy so bad. I want to take him down. I would love to, but seems like a good guy. He's great team player. A guy who just like you can't get him off the field, and he's played great, but he's struggled in big games. And the touchdown interception ratio this year: 21 touchdowns, 14 picks.
It's no
That's
bueno.
that's that's guy territory for sure. But 4,000 yards through the air is something that I haven't seen from a Jets quarterback quite some time. It's I would take him if we could do it over. I would take him in a heartbeat. Jets probably would have screwed him up by now, but eh, I gotta go, dude, because he's still got that. He's 24. Still got the
He's only
time.
24.
Yeah,
I guess I didn't realize that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
What do you think?
yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you here. You know me, all about the pedigree. If somebody thought you were a great talent, yeah, somebody thought you were a great talent back in high school, back in college, number one recruit over Fields as well, the highest rated recruit ever, to my knowledge, still, and big pick in the draft. Brought in his boy Travis Etienne as well. He lost a receiver this year. Forget who it was, the big name guy. Who's their main receiver? Remember? But he dealt with his own knee injury. What?
Calvin Ridley played most of the year. I feel like he was kind of their number one.
Yeah. Well, he had a knee injury as well, and part of his game is mobility. So he was limited. I think that's why he saw more pass yards as well. He's incredible, and he's always been an incredible talent. I think that they're close. I think that they're very close, and he's only 24, I guess, like you said, and he's got a lot of football yet to be played, and he's got all the talent in the world. He is football's Iron Man, like you said. He hasn't missed a game since high school, I guess. And he just gets on the field and he balls out. He plays with his heart. And sometimes he makes some dumb mistakes. Sometimes he doesn't slide. Sometimes he, goes and tries to do it all himself. But I think he's a good quarterback. And I'm going to stand behind my thought process and Doug Peterson being a good coach, especially for a young quarterback. He's done pretty well there so far, but for some reason they just can't get over the hump. I mean, they got to stop. I mean, maybe if they stop playing in England and Germany and China and Indonesia or wherever the NFL wants to send them so many times, they could win an extra game or two. But yeah, this was a tough loss. I guess they crumbled. They really crumbled at the end there, and this game was pretty bad from him as well. But I do think he's a total dude. I think he's a stud. I think he's right up there in talent with Mahomes and Herbert and some of the bigger names in the league. He's just doesn't have the experience yet, and that's what you're seeing him get right now is that experience, that chip, and I think he can go ahead and turn it into something special here pretty soon, as long as they keep doing what they're doing there.
Yeah, he did miss one game. He missed the Panthers game last week. CJ.
Oh, damn! All right, so that ended.
CJ Beathard played, and they won 26-0. But that was just the Panthers. They got when's the last time the Panthers scored a touchdown? That's
maybe rough. The first one that Bryce Young threw to the tight end there.
Jeez, that's rough.
No, Hubbard scored some touchdowns. They've been okay.
Yeah.
Poor Adam Thielen.
Been rough. No. All right. Yeah, we're in agreement there. I mean, I think it's worth the debate because the fact that we're even debating it says a lot. This was the crown jewel of the draft, and he hasn't looked like it. But it's still all there, and I still believe in him. Talk to me next.
Come on, sunshine.
Maybe we'll call it, but for now, still a dude.
I mean, right. I'd say we both want him on either of our teams right now. Sans Aaron Rodgers. But
correct. All right, who is your other candidate?
Next one, I don't think we've talked about him this year. I'm going to switch to baseball real fast because O's and Yanks have been rumored to be the two most sincere suitors in a trade for Chicago White Sox, Dylan Cease, a man who I traded you in Dynasty Baseball a long time ago for really nothing. I think maybe Gavin Lux, who jury's still out on him. But Dylan Cease last year, didn't he flip with a no-hitter in the first game of his season last year, or he threw a no-hitter, something like that? But I remember him with the pitch com. He was just mowing people down, and he didn't finish too well. But his year prior was pretty elite as well. And before that, he struggled when he was a little bit younger with a high ERA and some wild stuff. But curious to hear what you have to say before I say too much. Guy or dude, do you want him on the Yanks?
It's a tough one. I take him on the Yanks, depending on what we had to give up. He's 28, so he's right in his prime. I think the White Sox really want to haul for him, though, from what I've heard. And I don't know. It's stupid to say, but like if this was last offseason, obviously he came off a dominant season. In which he went 14-8 with a 2.2 ERA, 227 strikeouts, second in Cy Young voting in the AL. This year it didn't go his way. 4.58 ERA, 7-9 record. But the strikeout numbers were still there. third straight season with over 200 strikeouts. So he's been durable and consistent there. I thought maybe the control was a little worse this year, but it wasn't. He had 78 walks in 2022 and 79 walks in 2023. So kind of white there. I mean, it was just he was getting hit. He was getting hit harder, and you can look at FIP, which was much higher, 3.7 this year over 3.1. You can look at I look at his hard hit rate, and there's something about it jumped up from 31% to 41% hard hit rate. So people were lining him up this year. I would have to dive deep into the fan graphs to see what pitch they were hitting and kind of what the big issue was, which pitch he maybe struggled with. But I'm sure they can figure it out. He's going to walk a lot of guys, but so does Blake Snell, and Snell won the Cy Young last year. He's a dude. Dylan Cease is a dude. It's just that right arm isn't common that he has. He has the filthiest curveball. I mean, I think maybe in the game right now.
It's like it's sharp.
It's
That's
that
what I like about it.
Yeah, it's that classic 12-6 like Oswalt used to have, like just beast. So I think despite this, I would I give up Jason Dominguez for him? No, but I would probably give up any other prospect. I saw what Dominguez did in like a month in the majors before he got hurt, and so
Where would he slot in? So obviously, take the package of whatever it takes to get out. Where would he slot into the Yankees rotation?
I mean, right now he'd be number 2, and then you'd have Rodon probably 3, Nestor 4, and then you got to figure some things out. 5. They need to get 2 pitchers, I think.
Yeah.
Especially since they traded Michael King for Soto, and they traded 2 other guys who logged a lot of innings last year in what was his name? Johnny Brito, and Randy Vasquez. So they need some arms. They brought in some small names, a couple guys here and there, but they need some front end of the rotation guys. And Dylan Cease is a dude. He would be the number 2 behind Cole. If you sign Blake Snell too, and I don't think that's going to happen, but say you sign Blake Snell and you trade it for Dylan Cease, incredible. I think I might still have Cease as my number 2. Snell is my 3. So I got to say he's a dude. I just love his stuff, and I think he'll figure it out this year.
All right, we're double duding. We're double duding. All right, so no guys on this podcast. We're dudes, they're dudes. Dylan Cease, total dude. If he goes to the Orioles, as long as they don't, muck up the minor leagues that they, tanked for 5 years to get, I want Cease. Like you said, he's in his prime, he's clicking, and I think some of the struggles this year were maybe a product of the environment in Chicago, which one of the former players came out and said that there were like no rules. We were sleeping in the clubhouse in the bullpen. Like, you take Cease's talent and you give him, proper coaching, and he's put and set up for success. I think he could be a stud. He'll be that, top Cy Young type guy because he's just got that stuff, and he looks like he just loves pitching. And when he's out there, he's confident in what he's throwing. He doesn't waste time. He's perfect for, I think, the pitch clock environment. I think that's one of the things that I like about him most is he works quickly, and he's always worked quickly. So there's really no adjustment there for him. And I think he's just a really smart pitcher because he called his own game in that first game. And that's what I was most impressed with last year with him was he's the guy sending in the pitches, not, the catcher sending in the pitches for him. And again, maybe that's a product of the White Sox, really having a terrible, coaching staff and culture right there this year. But I really, really hope that he winds up on the O's, but I don't think we're going to give up anything that they're looking for him. So we may end up trying to find another guy like what's his face that we traded for from the Cardinals and trying to see if something else works or whatever. We tend to not go for the top guys for some reason, but I think Cease is a dude. I think you could put him out there any matchup, and he has the potential to win. He has the potential to throw a 1-hitter or a 2-hitter because his, like you said, his curveball is just freaking electric.
Yeah.
He also changes speeds well too, which I like.
Yeah. So it looks like I was looking at Fangraphs a little, and it looks like his fastball was a whole mile per hour slower this year, and his fastball.
Apparently, they didn't have workouts there either. So
yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. I'm now I'm going to read some articles and see like what it was. If maybe it was a the delivery thing or maybe an injury, but yeah, it went from 97 down to 96, so that's a pretty significant drop.
he's had Tommy John though, pretty sure. So he's already post that.
Yeah, but not. I mean, he hasn't had it in the past 2 years. He's been healthy, so I
Yeah.
mean, and maybe that could be like a bad sign of maybe an injury's coming. I don't know. I hope not, but we'll see where he ends up. I mean, both our teams could really use him as at the top of the rotation. That's the bottom line there. So, all right, yeah, quick two candidate guy, dude. I like it. We dug pretty deep into football today. We don't want to go too long here,
I'm gonna
but
throw you a little curveball. Haha, puns.
yeah, the Dylan Cease curveball. Very nice. All right, let's finish her off with the good, the bad, and the shitty. Chris, do the honors, start us off, and I'll try to keep us in order this time because the last time I think I went out of order and stole your shitty. So
That's okay.
let's see.
We usually agree on shitties, so
Yeah,
it is what it is. My good kicker appreciation day. Brandon Aubrey, Cowboys kicker. He set the single season record past Emmitt Smith for the highest scoring player on the team. Keep kickers in fantasy, everybody. Kickers
That's
are
your
players.
good, a kicker.
That's my good because this guy went from the MLS, never kicking a football as an adult, to being the highest scoring player in Cowboys single season history. So big fan of Brandon Aubrey and big fan of the kicking game. That's my good.
Might be the worst good in the podcast history.
He just makes me feel like I could go out and be a kicker right now if I could figure it out. I can't kick at all.
No, you can't.
My
No
thighs are
chance.
jelly.
All right. Terrible job. All right. I'll keep us going here. My good OG Anunoby and the new look New York Knicks. They have won 4 in a row, undefeated since the OG trade where they sent their former first round pick, RJ Barrett, and former draft pick who has done an incredible job, Emmanuel Quickly, to Toronto for OG Anunoby and Precious Achua and Malachi Flynn, which he's not playing, he's not doing anything. But OG
College player.
OG is the wing that this team needed. It was the fit that Thibodeau wanted, the team wanted, and you see the results. They are dominating. They blew out the Sixers. They're not now. Now Jalen and Randall can get their offense without trying to work in quickly and Barrett. They know that they could pass it out to Dante or Grimes for 3. You got Josh Hart running around, grabbing rebounds. Isaiah Hartenstein filling in for Mitchell Robinson at center.
Lunch player.
Grabbing. I mean, he grabbed 20 boards against the Sixers and 19 boards against the Wizards in back-to-back nights. I mean, 39 rebounds in 2 days. The guys, they're playing great. This whole thing with the Knicks, they need a star to really compete. They need a star to really compete. I think this team can really do some things. They got to stay healthy. I want to see how this team performs against the Bucks, who they did beat on Christmas before the trade, and the Celtics, who they struggled against early this year. But some of those were we had some injuries. I'm going to make excuses listing down the line. I think we can compete with any team right now, and I'm loving it. So that is my good. I'll keep us going with the bad. My bad is your NBA in-season tournament champion Los Angeles Lakers. They are on a 4-game losing streak. LeBron James was quoted as saying, "We just suck right now." So LeBron, yeah, you suck. You said it yourself. I love LeBron. I think the Lakers will be fine, but right now they're going through some struggles, and I think maybe this could be the NBA in-season tournament curse. Do we have a new curse? New curse
Yeah.
alert. New curse
Could
alert.
be.
That's
They
good. They raised the
ran
banner.
those old legs too much.
Yeah, they raised the banner and have struggled since. So, Lakers.
Hey, just give them a shot in the playoffs. That's all they care about. That's all LeBron cares about.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Chris, who's your bad?
Real quick on my bad because he's been a repeat offender and not really a friend of the podcast. Mr. Arthur Smith of the Falcons going after the Saints head coach at the handshake at the end of the game because I think Dennis Allen scored a touchdown when they were like on the 5. I mean, who cares at that point? Your season has been terrible, and to show that type of frustration, you just put a spotlight on really how bad you've been. And who cares? You're losing. Your team stinks, and it's mostly because of you. To go out there last game of the year and just kind of yell at the other coach at the handshake is just unbecoming of a NFL head coach as well. It's going to be talked about. It's going to be bulletin board material. It's going to be that type of thing. But Arthur Smith he keeps doing the wrong things. So Arthur Smith, again, my bad. I saw that and I was like, bro, just walk off the field. Your season, no good. No good. Don't let your frustrations come out on national TV. Well, regional TV.
He was going to be my shitty, and well deserved of anything. I mean, this guy, we hated him all year. He pissed off Falcons fans, pissed off his own players, pissed off gamblers, pissed off fantasy football players all year long with just nonsensical, ridiculous moves, playtime. Just can't be John Robinson the football. I think he's done, and I think he was embarrassed and pissed and couldn't handle himself, and it was pretty funny to watch. That might be his way out. That might be the last you see of Arthur Smith as a head coach in the NFL. I don't think he's
founded FedEx. He's going to be fine.
No, yeah, but as far as him obviously wanting to be an NFL head coach, that might be over. Yeah. So, good job. He definitely sucks. All right. He was
sorry.
No, that's fine. I got a backup. Who's your shitty?
All right, cool. My shitty is NFL analytics and the 4th and short this year in the NFL. Going for it all the time just because analytics say so. This isn't baseball. It's 18 weeks. There's not 162 games. There's, sometimes just kick the freaking field goal and get your points. Like, I don't get it. And the 4th and short calls, the rise of the tush push, everybody who's not named Tom Brady should not be doing quarterback sneaks all the time. Trevor Lawrence tried to put one over the top of the line. Shane Steichen throws 4th and short, throws the ball. I'm like, the whole analytics of the NFL thing, I don't like. And sometimes you need to be an old ball coach and end up making the play that gets your team the points and put yourself in the position to just go ahead and do it again. And we're seeing the Eagles. The Eagles are the worst offender of this, do it all the time. And look, their season crumbled at the end. So I don't know if it's because of that, but I'm so tired of hearing announcers say analytics say you should go for it here if it's if it's 4th and 3. No yard is guaranteed in the NFL, and every team is different. Everybody has a different offensive line. I just don't get it. There's been this umbrella of go for it on 4th, and if your team sucks, take your points and walk away. So that's my shitty for this year. It's frustrated me all year, and I had to get that off my chest.
So I'm assuming when Thursday Night Football games are on Amazon Prime, you don't put on the that other stream that's I forget what they call it, but it's got the next gen stats. Yeah, it's got in live in the game. Like I make my
bets in 10 minutes. Like it's overthinking it in the NFL. It's football. Go play football. Be tough guys. Run into each other. Like I'm tired of it.
That's all right. This is old man yelling at cloud here. I love it. Love it. Speaking of old men yelling at clouds, my shitty is Stephen A. Smith. I talked a little bit about it with the Knicks as my good, but this man, he's now a target of Knicks fans. He tries to claim he's a Knicks fan. Sure, maybe he's been his whole life, but he's not a true Knicks fan right now. He came out, they're on prime time, and I think that was Wednesday game against the Bulls, and he basically came out and said, I'm a bigger star than anybody on the Knicks. The disrespect, I mean, first of all, the audacity. Second of all, the disrespect to the guys on the team, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson. I mean, come on. You're popular. We get it, Stephen A. Like you're a big deal. But at the end of the day, you're not an NBA player who's bringing in billions of dollars and making tens and hundreds of millions of dollars either. Like these guys and take shots at the Knicks. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are superstars. I don't care what anybody says. I know maybe you don't agree with me on Brunson just yet, but I watch him every night, and I mean, the guy is on his way to becoming top I think he's top 20 in the league right now. I think he's on his way to rising up those ranks too. I mean, just doing everything. He does everything on the court. Complete disrespect. And I'm seeing on Twitter now. He's saying after they beat the Sixers, he tries to come back and say, "Oh, I might be excited about my Knicks." His replies were just filled with Knicks fans saying, "Nah, man, no, we don't claim
He's getting
you."
even worse. He's getting worse and worse as the years go by. It's like
yeah.
just a blowhard.
Hey, he's done a good job of finding what gets views and clicks and attention, and
It's true.
saying it. And he's made a career out of it.
We can use him over here.
Yeah, but probably not after he's our shitty. So, all right, that'll do it for us this week. We got a minute, Chris. You got anything or?
No, just want to say first off, congrats to you, Papa of two, baby on the way. We might be a little spotty here going forward with our podcast because Rich won't be sleeping, but kudos to you all year, man, hosting this stuff, editing it, producing it. I really had a lot of fun doing it. So congrats to you guys. Love you, man. And this was a lot of fun.
Appreciate it, bud. Love you. Love everybody out there. Thank you for the support. Keep following, subscribing everywhere. Thank you. We love you. Have a good night.